Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Waters Run Deep. This is episode 13. Today, we're going to be discussing Eastern State Penitentiary. Please remember to give us a follow on Instagram and also write a review on your podcast platform of choice. That helps us a lot, gets us out there, puts us on the charts potentially. And please remember to tell all your friends, your family, your barber, your mailman, all that fun stuff, or mailwoman. Tell them to check us out. If you leave us a 5-star review, we definitely will send you some stickers. If you don't hear from me and you left us a 5-star review, please send us an email at thewatersrundeeppodcast@gmail.com. And I'm going to send it over to David to do the Florida Man story for this week.
Yeah. Before we start, Christopher, did you tell your barber about this podcast today when you got your haircut?
I did. And she definitely said she's going to check it out. I even actually gave her a sticker.
Oh,
did you really?
Leave us a review and you got a sticker.
Nice. Well, I mean, for that haircut, you should have gotten somebody should have gotten a sticker. Right? For sure.
Well, she should have been giving me stickers for this haircut.
Well, yeah, that's what. Somebody in this whole scenario should have gotten a freaking sticker. So,
well, you look like Thor. So.
Well, I don't know if that's a good thing. She's got
Milnor,
Thor on her
David.
phone. I look like what?
I have as you like Milnor the hammer. I have the mighty Thor on my phone because I want to look like Natalie Portman. My goals.
I don't understand. So you want to look like Natalie Portman, so you have mighty Thor on your phone?
Yeah, that's what she plays in the new Thor movie. She's kick-ass.
Hang on, she's Thor?
Yes. What? Do you really do mute our group conversation?
Yes. Yeah, y'all talk way too damn much for me. That shit's on mute, and I'll get up and see like 12 missed texts. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And then I look at them like, these two are talking back and forth together, so I just let it go.
We usually move it to our own personal conversation.
Yeah, and the other thing too is a lot of the times we're talking for the listeners, we're talking about the podcast group and text messaging for iMessage, and a lot of the stuff we say like David ? Knowing that maybe you're sleeping, maybe you're at work, but it's like for you to answer when you get a chance, and it's like I'll say to a man in a separate message, like, "What the fuck? Like, is he like ignoring us or what's going on here?" I get maybe he was sleeping at the time, but he didn't even like chime in. It's been like 2 days now, but now it makes sense because we're fucking muted. So
yeah, you're being for sure ignored because like for all the listeners, I work night shift. I work 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. So, I'm sleeping when normal people are supposed to be awake and happening and what have you. Well, these two will love to text during the day. And before I had them on mute, my phone would just ding, 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 ding. And I'd go to work pissed off. And, everybody's like, why don't you mute it? Well, I found the button one day. I'm like, well, this worked. And it shut everything down. And honestly, there was like a couple days that went by. I'm like, I haven't fucking heard from these guys. It's been phenomenal. Like the phone hasn't dinged or anything. And then I look and I missed like a whole thread of freaking text about the podcast.
Well, see, what I do is because Amanda likes to, I go to bed early because I'm I get up early. So I get up at like 4:30 in the morning. So I'm going to bed at like by 9:30 unless we're recording. And Amanda likes to text me. And even on Friday nights, because I work Saturday mornings, Amanda likes to text me like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock our time. So, of course, I'm sleeping, so I don't get it. So what I do, knowing she's a few hours behind us, is that when I get up at 4:30 in the morning, I shoot her a text back answering what she says. It's like, you got me. Guess what? I got you.
And on top of that, I have like 5 people. Like basically it's you two, my mom, and then like our uncle and like Uncle Jack and Uncle Charlie, who like bypass my notifications to silence everyone. So when you text me, it makes my alert sound and I'm like, God damn it.
Well, see, I don't even think that I make your alert sound because I get the notifications have been silenced, and then it gives me an option.
I do too.
Oh, really?
You still get.
But it still goes through.
It still goes through because I have moved you all to like emergency. So if you were to call or text me, I get it anyways, which is fine. Except for, as you guys know, our uncle doesn't sleep, and so sometimes he'll text me at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Well, I'm glad he's texting you because he doesn't text me at all, and I'm up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
It is. I'm not telling you that it's like exciting text. Like usually it's like, I found this article on like ridiculousarticle.com. David, I think you may have been asleep, but I was like staying at the house with you and at their house, and he like woke me up at 3 a.m. to show me some article that he found.
Oh my gosh.
And I literally said, Charles, do not do that again.
That's funny. That's what, but that's, I mean, like, that's,
no, it's a great memory. Love
that's
it.
almost like the life I'm living with you guys, because the freaking phone would go nonstop. And y'all are talking about like the dog's food that you fed him yesterday and now he can't shit. And I'm like, why am I involved in this conversation? Like, honestly, what do I have to give in this conversation at, 12 in the afternoon when I'm supposed to be dead asleep? Because that's my midnight now. Yeah, no, it was great. Now you're muted, and now I miss half the conversations.
Well, we do it because it usually starts out with something podcast related, and then it morphs into the dog's not shitting.
Well, yeah, and then that's what I see is. Oh, okay, there you go. The liquid death water, I like that.
It's very good. Liquid death water. Yeah,
but
shameless plug.
That's what I see when I go onto the thread is the dog's not shitting, and I'm like, oh Jesus Christ! So I like give it up. I'm like, well, this has nothing to do with me. Clearly, they went on a tangent and forgot that I was included, and so I ex-nay out of the conversation. I don't read up to see that there was a question posed to David ? 2 days ago.
Well, here's a random conversation. So, is a hot dog a sandwich?
Oh, here we go. See,
or something
else going to come up.
Yeah, no, I need to know your thoughts on this because I really need to know.
I don't think it's a sandwich. It's a hot dog. It's a bun. If it was a sandwich, it would have 2 pieces of bread.
Well, a hoagie comes on a bun type roll.
Oh, you ass.
So is a hoagie not a sandwich?
I mean, I think a hoagie is a hoagie.
Yeah, well, yeah, I was just going to say that. It's a hoagie. It's named a hoagie, so why would it be a sandwich?
Or a submarine.
I guess
is a submarine a sandwich?
I guess it's a type of sandwich.
So why can't a hot dog be a type of sandwich? Well, how about this? Is a cheeseburger a sandwich?
No, it's a burger.
Yes, that's a sandwich. Because that's like under the sandwich section at.
So are cheesesteaks, though. Is a cheesesteak a sandwich?
But I actually do think that a hot dog is a sandwich.
You think a hot dog is a sandwich?
Yes, because sometimes my hot dog bun breaks in half, or like when I
splits on the back end. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's just eating like meat between 2 buns. I know that sounds terrible. I said that, and then I thought,
you got him.
That doesn't sound great.
Oh man,
I don't think it's a sandwich. Just my belief.
I mean, you're entitled to your beliefs, even if you're wrong.
Well, clearly I'm entitled to my beliefs, and they're right. So,
well, if it's a sandwich, wouldn't it just be a bologna sandwich then? Because it is a type of like bologna.
The same thing.
I don't.
It's
think,
a hot dog.
I think
bologna.
Well, I think hot dog has more inclusive than a bologna does.
I think it has
more inclusive. How?
Parts.
Like more parts are thrown into a hot dog than there are parts thrown into a bologna log.
You think?
I do.
I thought they were probably pretty much the same because they kind of look the same, just in a smaller. Like if you slice a hot dog, like slices, it kind of looks like the same consistency going on there.
Because when you slice a bologna log, you got it looks like a more what's the word I'm looking for? fine meat, if you will, like a slice a hot dog, and it doesn't look as compressed,
Veiny?
I guess, as a bologna would. I mean, if you want to go down this road, we'll trot on down this road. Yes, it's not as veiny.
That
It's not as
painful.
It depends on how wide the buns are spread.
I mean,
for yours, it would be pretty painful because, from what I understand, you're splitting the other side of the buns.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Yeah.
Wow, this went down south quick.
Anyhow, I do not believe a hot dog's a sandwich. Goodness gracious.
Oh, man. So, a hot dog is not a sandwich.
I feel like our listeners need to share this with us. I will put a poll on our Instagram, and I need to know what our listeners think. So I will do that ASAP.
Tell us what you think, what it is.
Yeah, please comment on this, because this could be a long debate, honestly. Like, I think we could do an episode on hot dog being a sandwich.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And what else consists of a sandwich?
And what else is, like, thrown in and not in the bologna?
Oh, my God. Which I think it was one of you that I watched some, like, how it's made, and it was about, like, bolognas and sausages and salami and stuff, and I was like, oh, this is awful.
Yeah, and Scrapples. Yeah, I think it was me. And Scrapple.
It was you.
Scrapple's even worse.
The Scrapple's delicious.
Yes, see, I don't know. I don't know what's in Scrapple. I don't know that I want to know what's in Scrapple. Just as I don't want to know everything that's in a hot dog. Well, I think that's what's in a hot dog is just the scraps of, like, everything that's left over is churned up. It's all mixed up and all compressed together in a log.
That's true.
Well, how do they make it kosher?
They pray over it.
They don't put the assholes in there.
They get a couple of people going shamalama ding dong and send it on down the line. It's kosher.
Yeah. Okay. Nice rabbi to give it its best and send it on its way.
Slap it right on the log's ass and on.
Or it may be the way it's prepared, because I know a lot of the kosher foods, it's prepared a certain way, like the way the animals
are like slaughtered,
processed. Yeah.
How do you I mean, what's the different way to process an animal?
No, like that's
so like sorry. Here it comes. And you're dead.
Well, I know, like the Arabics, they bleed a goat, and yeah, it's pretty fascinating. Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you slaughter a cow, you have to bleed it because that'll get back into the meat. I don't know if
but they do something with the blood.
Yeah, you can't like touch like certain parts.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty intensive. Yeah, I don't remember everything, but it's pretty fascinating.
So I'm going to change topics for a second. Chris, have you like looked at the Liquid Death website? Because they have some really interesting merchandise.
Oh, I thought you were going to go a different direction with this.
Drinking water from the Alps. So good.
What's in this water that makes it
murder your thirst?
Oh, well, there you have it.
And it's we donate
recycling bin.
Yeah, because they say death to plastic, and we donate 10% of the profits from every can sold to help kill plastic pollution.
That's pretty neat. I like that.
I mean, considering our aunt and uncle refill their Keurig with a plastic water bottle, even though they have filtered water from their fridge every day, I think it probably counteracts them a little bit.
It says on the side of the can, it says recycle or die.
I like that.
I might have to go find this water.
Yeah.
I just
I bought it. It's you can find it everywhere. Like grocery stores sell it up here. The bodegas sell it up here. Everybody sells it. It's good. They have sparkling too. I like sparkling water, but it's just plain unflavored. I think they did come out with flavored though, but I haven't tried that yet. But The plain
You can get it at the
sparkling
Buddhist.
water. Oh, really? They have it. There you go. It's good. It's worth it. It's usually it's a little pricier than regular water, but I think it's worth it. I mean, I definitely think it's worth it.
Well, I mean, if you can taste the difference in it, then
Yeah, it's like clean, and it might just be because it's coming out of a can. Because it's
so I'm looking at this Liquid Death website, and they have this thing called a bill of sale for the eternal human soul. And it's where you can get membership to the Liquid Death Country Club. Are you a part of that?
No, because it's a lot of money. Look and see how much it is. You're gonna die. Literally.
I think I said yes. You don't have to pay anything.
I like the hydration detector 9000.
I know, right? That's kind of cool. You just sell your soul, and then you get to exclusive merchandise, limited stuff, invites to private shows and events. I don't think I'm cool enough for these people.
Well, how do you know? How do they know you sold your soul? I guess if you buy something.
Yeah, you like say yes to it.
Oh, you don't have to pay for it?
No, you can pay. Pay cash instead. What's that say? Oh shit! Why is it so much money?
Yeah,
yeah. So you can pay this ridiculous amount of money, or you can waive the cash fee, and sell your soul. So I think that's a joke. Yeah. I don't think people are actually paying.
It is, yeah.
Oh, I was like to say, what the? Hang on a minute.
Isn't it like 1.5 million or something like that?
Yes.
Something crazy or something.
That's phenomenal. Could you imagine if they're like getting a check or something? Or call, people are calling. Can we do this in payments?
Yeah. I'm telling you, it's good water and liquid death. If you are by chance, I don't know why I just called it liquid death.
I like that
liquid death rather. Yeah. Check us out. Send us an email. We'd love to put you as advertise your wonderful product.
Just
how about that Florida man, guys?
Oh yeah, Chris is like, let's do this shit.
Well, let's get into the Florida man. So, all right, guys.
Processing your soul.
Oh, really? Did you sell your soul? Nice. I'm sure the Catholic Church would be happy to hear about that.
That's probably true. Anyway, sorry, Florida man.
So, I don't know if you guys are ready for this. This little feller here, Dusty Mobley, was very adamant about not going to jail here recently. So he stole a boat, a $40,000 boat, according to the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office. He used some heavy machinery and cut a hole into the side of a metal building, and stole a boat, and was out on the boat when law enforcement pulled up on him and wanted to talk to him about the stolen boat and serve him with a couple warrants and take him to jail. And he dove off the side of the boat and hid in the swamp in order to evade law enforcement. Well, they caught up to him again on Saturday. And on Saturday, since he didn't have his boat anymore, he hopped on a zero-turn John Deere riding lawnmower and tried to boogie on away from law enforcement again.
Okay, so first of all, how did he get the equipment to cut the hole in the boat home?
It doesn't go into it doesn't really go into details about that. They said that he just found, I guess there was some heavy machinery near the building or something like that, and cut a hole into the metal building to steal the vessel from a business in Baker, Florida.
So Dusty was walking down the street one day, and he was like,
I think there was probably a little more than just. I think there was probably a little more than just walking down the street, because he obviously knew this boat was expensive and sitting in this metal building.
Do we think that Dusty saw the equipment and like went home and like took his crayon and sketched out his plan? Or do we think he just like on the fly was like, you know what I'm gonna do today? I'm gonna take a boat.
I'm
Well,
gonna go with on the fly because he doesn't seem like he's the type to plan all that out, and it doesn't really seem like a well thought out plan. So I'm
here's
gonna
an
go
old
with on the
picture.
fly.
Here's a picture of Dusty. So that might help you a little bit if you look at the feller.
That's some hair.
Yeah, he looks like he was out on the boat that day that he got arrested and had that
Something about
mugshot.
Mary.
He's kind of a handsome fella. I mean,
he looks like he's pretty put together,
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so I don't know. I think it was probably one of those. Well, I know he's got a boat in there and he's got equipment sitting here. Maybe he brought the equipment. Who knows? It could have been stolen heavy equipment.
I think I missed this. Was this someone else's boat? Was this like his neighbor John's boat, or was this?
No. It was somebody else's boat. I'm not sure whose boat it was. It wasn't the county's boat, and it was like they, the person that owned the boat knew this was an expensive boat, and up there in Okaloosa County, I guess it's a pretty sought after type of boat for the swamps and what have you. Here there's a picture of him jumping
County?
Okaloosa. Here's a picture of old Dusty diving off the boat, getting away from law enforcement.
Who thought, you know what I'm going to do is take a picture of Dusty diving off the boat?
Well, it's probably off. My guess is they have body cams.
Oh. Yeah.
So as they rolled up on him, body cam activated, and there goes Dusty diving off the boat. And they're like, well, we got to watch this later on.
Yeah. They're like, this is going to be great entertainment.
They go back and call their sarge. Hey, Dusty got away. He's out in the swamp somewhere. And then they found him. When they found him, again, like I said, he jumped on this John Deere tractor. He ended up getting tased. He had a revolver, a handcuff key, along with a pipe with some methamphetamine residue.
Oh, there we go.
Got that old meth.
He was planning that. This is he was planning that. So name the things he had again.
He had a revolver, a handcuff key, and a meth pipe with some residue in his pocket.
So he had the handcuff key. He had the revolver so he could fight back with the police, right? And then he had the handcuff key in the event he was captured.
Well, I don't know
that said handcuff key to escape.
Yeah, the handcuff key I could buy. The revolver, the revolver, I think, was more of I'm a felon. I'm doing meth. I need these for the bad guys that chase me or for the bugs that crawl on me. Because I think he would have had the opportunity to shoot at police while he was running on his John Deere zero turn. Old Barney Fife situation. You can't catch me, copper, on a freaking lawnmower. But
so he's captured now, right?
Old Dusty's residing in the Okaloosa County Jail.
Is that a big jail?
Nice.
Okaloosa, no, Okaloosa is not.
What part of Florida is that in, Dave?
I want to say North Central. So Okaloosa, I was wrong. Okaloosa is in the Panhandle between Panama City and Pensacola.
Oh, that makes even more sense. That's basically Lower Alabama.
Mm-hmm. Yep, sure is.
Basically Alabama.
I've only been up that way to go to the site camp up there. Not reside at the site camp. Let me go ahead and throw that out there. But for work, I've been up to that Chattahoochee.
Isn't it like
way down yonder
in the Chattahoochee?
You know what? It's not even called Chattahoochee. What? That's
COVID brain.
That's an Alan Jackson song.
It is an Alan Jackson song.
Strong.
Alan Jackson song.
We're just hitting it out of the park today, folks. I'm so glad you're with us.
Nailing it.
Like, I feel like, they have a nightlight on this Liquid Death page. I promise I'm paying attention. I'm just very.
Yeah, you're paying as much attention as Chris is cleaning his fan over there. His little gong fan. Dong.
I think it's COVID brain. Like, what?
That was a Michael Jackson impression on this side. I'm sorry. Ow.
Oh, okay.
I thought that was Chris, and I was like, what? Okay. Shall we get into the conversation?
Yes.
Wait, well, Dave, you're leading today. So
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was still looking for the site camp, and it is Chattahoochee. I'm sorry. I didn't want to. That was okay. So on to our discussion. So we're doing the Eastern State Penitentiary. Do you guys know anything about Eastern State?
I have no idea.
A little bit. I know I want to go there for a tour and see the place, and I'm about 2 hours away from the penitentiary. It's on a huge piece of property. It was built a long time ago, and it was built by prisoners, I believe. And listeners, this is all completely off the top of the head. I'm not going to say the stuff that I did hear David already say during our discussion. However, it was built by the prisoners. It's housed some famous inmates. It's been closed down for some time, and it's now being used for tours and Halloween attraction. And that's about as much as I can remember right now.
So yeah, the state of Philadelphia, I believe, owns it.
Pennsylvania.
Okay,
it's in Philadelphia. So yeah, the state of Pennsylvania. Yep, the county of Philadelphia. How about that? Would it be county?
Township. No, we do townships up here, but I don't think Philadelphia is a township. I think it's a city. But yeah, it's weird. They do townships. They do cities. It's weird.
That's odd.
It's weird.
So
I live in
Hanover,
Pennsylvania.
Right. And that would be Hanover would be the city.
Right. And then my township is West Mannheim, and my what do they call that? Oh, the county would be York.
Okay.
So basically to sum it down, I live in Pennsylvania, in Hanover, in York, in the city of Hanover, in the township of West Mannheim.
Chris, you should just give your address so our listeners can definitely find you.
Well, I mean,
that's a good point.
We trust our listeners. Come on over and visit. We'll put you on the podcast.
Well, yeah, it's a big township, so they'd have to look pretty hard to find me.
So, onto Eastern State. I didn't read anywhere where the criminals built it. But you were right. It was built a long time ago. It was actually built in 1829, and back then it was the largest building in the United States.
Oh wow!
Cool.
I was gonna say early 1800s, but I didn't realize it was the largest building.
Yeah, when I looked it up, I didn't realize it was the largest building, but it was the largest building in the United States. It cost $750,000 to build back then.
That's a shit ton now.
Well, yeah, it would be probably in the billions now. I didn't do the math to make it what it is today. But it was one of the largest and most expensive prisons in the world when it opened, and it was it was built on the Pennsylvania premise of prisons, which is to house each inmate in a single solitary cell without contact between each inmate, and minimal contact with the guards. So when they would come out, they would have to wear a mask. They couldn't see like their next door neighbor. They had their own rec yards and all this stuff. And the theory behind it was back then. the theory behind it was back then was if we can keep them separated, then they will reflect in amongst themselves and go, you know what, I screwed up. I'm a menace to society, and fix themselves. When in actuality, that didn't really work. That made people crazy.
Wait,
Right.
so they had their own like backyard for them to specifically play in?
Yeah. Yep. Now, and Amanda, what's
It
neat
wasn't
is
very big either.
no, it's not. If you go to Union, and I don't think you'll ever do that, you'll ever have the opportunity to do it. Maybe you will. But when you come back to Florida, if you take a tour, I don't know if they'll let you, of the death row prison. It's Union up in Stark. They have single cells and they have a single rec yard that they go out, and it's a little fenced in area that is not even half the size of a basketball court. That they go out, they can get sunlight, they can walk around, and they're by themselves because it's a lifer prison. It's a death row camp.
Oh.
So yeah, they still
So
do that.
someone who has recently experienced solitary confinement because I was confined during COVID.
I was gonna ask. I was like, hang on a minute. It's very difficult.
Would not survive.
And you had TV and internet to go with too, man. You got to think they don't have that.
Yeah, you had access to your cell phone and the daily news and all this stuff. These guys didn't have that, right? Their lighting in Eastern State
Just
was
you and your thoughts.
provided by overhead lights, or not overhead lights, but a skylight. That was their lighting.
Oh,
so when the sun went down, that was it.
And Pennsylvania, that's crazy because it gets pretty it's dark pretty early.
Mm-hmm.
In like the winter at least. I
think,
right, Chris?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's the angles of the sun too. I mean, it once it passes your little porthole, your skylight, I mean, you're out of light then. So it's even worse with that because it ain't like it has multiple windows in a house, and as long as the sun's on that side of the house, it lights the house. I mean, you only have a little, maybe 6x6 squares that provides a light. So as soon as the sun goes past that and the angle's off, you're done. You're in the dark.
Yeah, you're kind of getting the shadows at that point.
So this might be like jumping the gun, but like, were there a lot of suicides or like attempts?
See, yes, yeah, actually, there were quite a bit, and that was one of the things that I was going to get into, and we'll kind of touch on it now. There's an article. Where did I get this from? It's from the NPR, and the title is Eastern State Penitentiary Really Haunted? And it goes into how some of the guards used punishment. They said one of the harshest punishments were the prisoners was to it's called a water bath, in which these inmates were dunked and then hung out on the wall in winter until ice formed on their skin. So, like, caused some problems with the guards. They had some ways to fix that stuff.
Ouch.
Yeah, they had a thing called the mad chair, which they bound an inmate so tightly that circulation was cut off, later necessitating amputations. They had the iron gag, with which an inmate, their hands were tied behind the back and strapped into an iron collar in the mouth, so that any movement caused the tongue to tear and bleed profusely.
I've seen that.
Yeah, needless to say, there were tons of suicides, tons of murders and what have you, because, like I said, the solitary confinement thing didn't really last through the whole, I want to say, being of the prison. Go ahead.
Tenure.
Yeah.
So here's a picture. He had mentioned the mask the inmates wore if they left their cell. So I found a picture of an inmate in their mask, and it's kind of creepy just to look at it.
Oh yeah, I have that picture. Yep,
It
I was
looks
fixing to
like,
show that.
and we'll post this on Instagram for our listeners, but it reminds me of sort of the
Yes,
mask if you saw the new Batman movie. Is that what you're thinking, Chris?
that is. Yeah, and I found one that, like, I guess they have in the, prison maybe as, like, a exhibit, and it kinda reminds me of, I hate to say this, but, like, what I picture, like, the KKK wear. Here's one
Mm.
that I guess they have on display,
Oh
and
wow,
it's basically like a
like a
semi-cone
white
shape
hood. Yeah.
white hood with 2 eyes cut out in it.
I wonder if
It's not
like
as pointy as
the uh a tire maker for the KKK organization was like, "Man, sales are down. Maybe I'll go to the prison to see if they want to purchase some stuff."
and
Dave's
see,
like,
they
"Where is Amanda going
also
with this?"
they this just came to me too. I can't remember more on it, and I feel guilty even saying this without going further into it, but I know that the prison, the way they like, the warden ran it was very, like, semi in line with religious or an Amish type mentality, like, almost like
Mm.
Mennonite mentality where it was very strict religious, pushed into it, and I think there's also something to do with the design of the prison too.
Well,
There's
see, I
something
was
to do
gonna
with that. Did
I
you
was gonna get into that. The design was actually this guy came over from Europe. He was the one that won the contract um, to design the prison. And when he won the contract, he beat three other people out. He was awarded $100 for winning. For coming up with the winning architecture back in the day. a hundred
Yay,
dollars. I'm
him.
like, come on. Um, but when I went to this prison, because we just drove past it, we were visiting family with my first wife, and we just happened to drive past it. And I'm like, what is this? What is Eastern State Penitentiary? And driving up to it, it's ominous. It's like there's gargoyles sitting on like the corners, like up above the doors and stuff like that. And it's like one of those, even though it's closed and it's a um a museum, you're like walking in, you're going, oh my God, what am I walking into? What this is getting kind of freaky now. Huge doors, like, I mean, massive doors. Um, that took
Yeah.
like 2, 3 people to open. It's wild.
And I'm sorry, I think you may have said this, but I obviously wasn't paying attention. But when was the last prisoner like released or moved?
Um, I want to say the museum started in '94. I have the timeline right here. Give me one sec. January 1970. Most inmates are sent to the State Correctional Institution in Graterford. While the penitentiary's electrical and mechanical systems are in terrible shape, the walls and paint were in perfect condition. So in January 1970, Eastern State Penitentiary closed.
So the walls and paint were perfect.
Now, in 70 and 71, the city of Philadelphia used Eastern State to house prisoners from the county jails, what we call jails, but they call them county prisons at Holmesburg, following a riot. So they had a riot at this county jail, and they moved everybody to Eastern State to hang out.
They were like, "Try that again,
Huh,
fools.
Yep.
that's
Yep.
kinda
Next
cool.
will be Alcatraz." Wow, and that's almost 100 years
Yeah, it
of
ran
this type
for
of.
142 years, I believe was what I read. Yeah, and it's 142-year history. Yeah, it was full of suicide, madness, disease, murder, and torture, making it easy to imagine the spirits of troubled souls left behind to roam its abandoned halls.
So I think that's what we like want to talk about, right? Is like, do we think that this place is haunted, and then is it as haunted as other places?
Now,
I
on that, I think go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry, because
No,
I
no, go
have the
ahead, go
answers.
ahead.
No, I
Just
have
go.
the answers. So go ahead.
I wholeheartedly believe that it is haunted. I mean, I'm in the belief that, we live in a unlimited reality in the f you know, the rea what I believe, I guess, is the simplest way to say it. So I definitely believe in the afterlife and ghosts and hauntings, whether it's residual or it's intelligent haunting. I definitely believe in it, and at the very least, I believe that this penitentiary, Eastern State, has residual haunting, if not intelligent haunting. I mean, there's so many deaths that occurred there, and so many people that spent the last several years of their life there that that's all they knew, that I cannot believe that nothing got imprinted into the walls of that place, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's sort of where I'm at. Is I mean, obviously, I think we've mentioned many times that we believe in haunting, and I'm really hoping soon we can do an episode um about about the history of hauntings and all of that. Um, but I guess my biggest question is like,
Mhm.
is it residual ghosts that we're experiencing or that are there or hauntings, or are there like demonic beings that are also haunting this area? Um, and is it sort of a mixture of it? I think about the type of people who probably were inmates here, and was there evil around? I'm so curious of what you have to say, Dave. I'm really like interested in.
So in 71, it was considered by several sources to be one of the most haunted places in America. It's been featured on several ghost hunter type TV shows, the Travel Channel's Ghost Adventures, Most Haunted Live, uh, Sci-Fi's Ghost Hunters, and
Seen them
MTV's
all.
Fear.
Like our favorite shows.
Yeah, so and dozens of
Yep,
paranormal
I've seen them
researchers
all.
visit it every year. Um, there's talk of not only inmates haunting this place, but they say that there's a guard that is seen in one of the towers walking around.
So did that guard die there, or that's where their spot or their spirit has chosen to?
I'm assuming that he was probably killed there. It doesn't really go into like detail of why the guard was there. I think at the prison there was something mentioned about it. I don't remember because that was God, Savannah's 13. She was showing me pictures. She was a little thing then, so probably 10, 12 years ago. Well, not 12 years ago, but probably 10 years ago. Um I would imagine that he probably was killed there or died there in one of the towers. But people talk about hearing footsteps, wails, and whispers. There's a fellow there that he he maintains the locks for the prison still, because they keep the locks on the doors to show everybody what it used to be and what have you. And he said he went down to unlock one of these cell blocks, and he was grabbed to the point where he couldn't move, and he saw a horrible he described like a negative horrible energy that exploded out of the cell, and he said tormented faces appeared on the cell walls, that one form in particular beckoned to him.
What?
Yeah, dude, I think that would
Jesus.
be my last day working there. I would drop everything and be like, and I'm gone.
That So the difference between residual and intelligent haunting is residual is where the person, it's just like somebody doing their daily routine every day, the inmate or the, correctional officer. It's been imprinted into the walls. So it kind of repeats itself, whether it's in another dimension or it's a haunting. It's just it's kind of, that's what people are hearing. And an intelligent haunting is where you actually are communicating with the spirit. So you ask a spirit a question and it responds back to you, whether it's on a digital recorder or a spirit box or something like that. And a residual haunting would just come through as, random things, doors closing, opening, footsteps, that could be in line with more of a residual haunting. And then you have your demonic hauntings, which is potentially an intelligent demon that you're communicating with. It's just nothing but evil. And what that guy encountered definitely sounds like it was a demonic entity.
Oh heck yeah, yeah. I mean, he said he was unable to move, and that he saw like tormented faces on the walls, and then this one that beckoned to him. I mean, I couldn't imagine like seeing tormented faces on a prison cell wall, and then one of them going, "Come, no, no, sir, I'm gone, bye."
I'm good. I'm not gonna
And
do
I'm
that.
and I'm in therapy for the rest of my life because now I have to see this.
Well, and I also think about like a lot of those shows that Chris and I love, and Dave, I think you watched a couple of them too.
Mm.
Talk about like the ghost. Sometimes the demonic beings, or even like some ghosts, come home with you, and so like that always freaks me out.
Well, I wonder if that's because you
Yeah,
took
they
a
call it
piece
like
of.
Yeah, like if you're someone who's like super connected, they say like it can really like come with you. Like I don't know.
So
I
and
felt that
and
out
that
in New Orleans.
that
they
would be
call it
something that I would be like nervous about if.
it's like an attachment.
So you have to take something with you,
No, it can
Chris?
just be like they
No,
can
it's
just
just an
attach to your soul.
attachment. Yeah, they just attach to you. It's not necessarily, but that does happen too. That what you're talking about, David. Like if you were to go to the prison and you took a old key or something or something from there, even like a piece of the prison wall that's broken off.
Yeah,
They say
yeah.
that spirits can attach to that, and you can end up taking them home too.
That's unreal. I mean, could you imagine like, oh, I'm going to take this home. This is a souvenir. There's a piece of like a brick laying on the ground or something like that. And you just pick that
Yeah.
up and shove it in your pocket, and you get home, and now you're seeing tormented souls in your house.
Ugh.
Right.
What are they
Well, when
doing?
I went to Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum in Vegas a few years back, you have to sign a waiver that A, you're not gonna take anything, and if and B, it was something along the lines that there's a potential that these spirits that are housed there and the artifacts and stuff that he has could potentially follow you home. So
Now, if this
it's
spirit
definitely
follows you home, does that spirit stop being at that place?
that's a funny theory. I would assume. I don't know. That's an interesting theory, but I wonder
They
if
do
they
a
would
9
get
to
you
5.
for stealing if you stole their spirit.
Well, I'm not going to call him back and be like,
Well,
this son of a bitch followed me to the house. Can you come get him?
can you imagine being like the lawyer who directed them to write that up? Like they're like, well, I
Right.
guess
That's what I thought
we
about.
would
Like,
say this.
yeah, like what kind of spirit lawyer did you get to do that? Did you have to get one from both realms?
Right. Like, is it like the kind of experience of Beetlejuice where you take a number and wait? Like, I have lots of questions about that specifically. I'm going to need a spirit lawyer to reach out to us at our podcast. Instagram or email is fine. Be like, I need to know. Like, if I could understand if I took an artifact, but how could I just like I want to be in that court hearing where I come back and say, because I visited your museum, this spirit has haunted me. I
Could
want
you
to see
sue?
that. That's what I'm asking. I want to see that fall into like the court. How does that work?
Yeah. What
Judge Judy.
what laws is there a preceding law for this? Like,
Right. I mean, you obviously have to be
I
able
don't
to
know.
prove that the spirit has followed you. But how can you approve that the spirit even exists to write it in your contract and then to say it followed? I mean, there's just
well,
I need a
not
lawyer
right.
who works
Not
in
on.
this.
Not only do you have to prove that the spirit is now with you, you have to prove that this spirit came from point A, followed you to point B, and is now screwing with your life. I could imagine.
And now I'm thinking about a fantastic comedy movie where it could be like The Law and Spirit or something, and it's a person who a spirit comes home with them and then like trying to sue and deal with the spirit. And
Now, do the spirit and them get along after a certain point? Like, do they just chalk it up to,
right.
well, screw it, you're here, so
Well, it's like that show Ghost
Might as
on
well make
CBS.
the best of it.
Right,
if you haven't watched it, I recommend it. It's fantastic. And they end up liking the spirits. Like, they have fun with them.
I don't know that I could like any of these spirits from Eastern State, though.
Well, yeah, that's the other question.
Maybe the guard. Maybe me and the guard could get along, but these tormented
piss
souls.
him off, and he's going to put you outside in the rain, in the winter.
Yeah, but it doesn't get cold enough here for icicles to form on my nipples, so I'm all right.
That's true.
No nipple sickles happening here.
Nipple sickles. Band name, called it.
Yeah, that is a good one.
That's a pretty good name. I don't remember what we were talking about before. We were talking about spirit lawyers.
So what's amazing?
Oh,
go ahead.
No. Sorry, you go.
What's amazing is these people that run Eastern State. Now, I've got a question for both of you. Would you go to a haunted house that's at a prison?
Yeah. Well, no. I wouldn't go to a haunted house if it was like a fake haunted house. No. But if it was a prison tour and I knew it was haunted, then yes.
This is like a Busch Gardens haunted house.
Oh, no, I am not going to that.
It's a walkthrough, people touch, electric chair, inmates, the whole 9 yards that you're walking through a prison, a real deal prison. And they do this during Halloween. They open this prison up. They make it Halloween, a haunted ghost tours, or I'm sorry, a haunted house. And you pay to go through and get tormented. No, hell no. Not only no, but hell no.
I don't like haunted houses to begin with.
I would go in a heartbeat. Absolutely.
Would you?
In a heartbeat. And it's supposed to be, yes, it's supposed to be the best because they actually get at Eastern State, because they actually get like movie makeup artists and stuff to do all the makeup for the actors.
They go like real deal. They put money into it to get these people to come in. And from what I hear, it's like really good. There's some videos for the people that are listening. If you go to easternstatepenitentiary.com, you can look at, they have the timeline of the prison. They have the haunted tours and stuff like that. Now, they also are very specific about, they do not talk about this place being haunted. They don't, push this place is being haunted and stuff like that. They're very careful about that because they respect that 70,000 inmates went through this place, and that these were people. These were actually, these people did wrong. However, they were people, and some of them died, some of them were killed, some of them, met their demise here, but they don't try and make money off of the haunting. They want you to come in and see what prison was in the 1800s as opposed to what it is now. And I'm telling you, if you ever get a chance to go to this building, my daughter found my old pictures from when we went, and it's amazing. Like, this building, this layout is just wow. It's awe-inspiring to see like how tall these walls are, how big the building is, how much space this place takes up. I think it was like 11 acres of prison, and just the architecture and all that is just unreal. But
and
they're
wasn't
very,
it like the first penitentiary, like actual penitentiary, where it housed like more prisoners than like the rest of the nation's prison system?
Yeah. When they originally built it, it was built to house 270 inmates. By the time it shut down, it housed 1,500, 15 to 1,700.
That's crazy. And the building set up, it's kind of like
rooms.
Well, no, they actually, as the years went on, they built on, and they went from, like, the original prison was 1 story, and then like they built a couple buildings that were 2-story. By the time they were done, they had a couple buildings that were 3-story, and they learned, okay, well, with the first 2-story, our catwalks were out a little bit, so this was happening. The guards were getting stuff thrown on them, or this was falling down onto the guards on the bottom, or what have you. So they learned to recess the catwalks, and then they had a death row building that was built, and they separated actually the inmate from the guard, and then from the cells. So they had two catwalks, one where the inmate would walk down and one where the guard would walk down, because if you work in the prison systems, or if you think about it, these people have nothing to lose once they're sentenced to death. So if you're a guard and you go in there and this person doesn't like you, because they have feelings also about people. If they don't like you, well, I got nothing to lose. What's another life sentence? I'll just kill you and move on. I'm still getting fed. Yeah, I'm still getting fed by the state, still getting taken care of. So what do I care?
Yeah.
Still getting that 3 hot in a cot.
That's it, baby.
3 hot in a cot.
Now, in something else that's pretty interesting, in 1929, Alfonso Scarface Capone spent 8 months at Eastern State Penitentiary.
Is this for when he got charged with the tax fraud and everything?
Yeah. He was going up the road, or he was up the road for a long time during this, and Eastern State was one of the prisons that they actually kept him at. Now if you go to Eastern State Penitentiary, and we'll post these pictures online because I sent them to you and Chris, Amanda. His cell was the most opulent cell in that prison. He had rugs. He had a cabinet record player so he could listen to music. He had a desk lamp. He was the only prisoner in there that had all this opulent stuff because he was Al Capone.
Yeah, what made, is it because he was Al Capone, or because he knew people?
No, it's because he was Al Capone. And I mean, when you get an inmate such as Al Capone coming in, you want him going back. Well, the best prison I stayed at was Eastern State.
Yeah, I mean, people. I'm sure the press and stuff probably has come in to see him.
Right. And the last thing you want him to do is go out and be treated like
people
garbage.
Right, they're like celebrities back then.
Right.
So they, like you said, the press is going to come in and visit or ask him how his visit was. So of course they're going to make it worth his while. And they didn't have. You got to remember, they have the, what do they call it, white collar prisons now, where you go there and it's like a country club compared to the blue collar prisons. So it's kind of like they didn't have that then, so they're gonna give him what he had. Because really, even though he was a cold blooded killer, he was in jail for like a white collar crime. So.
Yep.
That's so cool, though. But there is, just stuttered there for a minute. We assume that Al Capone's soul or whatever is Alcatraz, right?
Well, yeah, no,
he associated with Alcatraz.
He only spent 8 months at Eastern State. Okay. So he, nothing huge was done. He's just one of the he's the most infamous inmate that they housed at Eastern State. And they still have his cell set up the exact same way it was when he was there. They had
to have reset that up, though. Because I'm sure once he left, they put Joe Schmo in there.
Yeah,
Joe
Schmo's probably.
there was carpet when I toured.
Yeah. I'm sure that, it's not the same carpet or desk lamp or anything like that was there when Capone was there. But yeah, they reset it up, and that's one of the stops that you actually get to stop, and you look into his cell and you see what his life was like on the tour, because they do daily tours there.
So cool.
It's really neat. I mean, like I said, looking at the building and the architecture and all that stuff is just, it's unreal. It's really, really cool.
So who is the most besides Al Capone, but who was the most dangerous or evil prisoner there?
Oh, see, I didn't really get that far into it.
Oh, I've tricked you again.
You did. You got me. You got me. Let me see. I'm trying to go through my stuff real quick. Oh, so if you want to go most famous prison or most famous prisoner, we'll go prisoner number C2559. I'll give you a moment if you want to Google that. C2559 at Eastern State Penitentiary.
Aww, what did you do?
So,
I said it. I was on mute. It's a pup.
It is
I kept saying it. I didn't realize I was on a mute.
Yeah, it is. It is a pup, and this dog was put away for life, and he was given the life sentence by the governor for attacking and killing the governor's wife's beloved cat. So the governor gave him a life.
Not the dog.
So the governor gave the dog a life sentence. Now, a lot of people have refuted that story and said that the governor donated this dog to Eastern State in order to raise morale with the inmates.
But like, you couldn't play with the dog because you had to wear a hood.
Well, I'm sure if you walk the dog into the cell or whatever, I don't know. I don't know how. Well, I mean, later on down the line, the hood, the whole, solitary confinement type thing went away.
So I think this is the dog that was donated.
Well, see, I have a different picture. I think I sent you the picture of the one that I have.
Yeah, that's not the one that I pulled up.
Yeah, that's the doggy that I've got.
Yeah, that's the one I saw.
Yeah. Well, I was looking at the two, and I think this other one is the one that's donated, but I could be wrong. But I did find that if you go to the prison, you could get inmate 2559 for your very own self for $12.95. Little plus.
Oh, look at him.
Inmate.
Oh, I feel like your little dog would totally kill that.
Yeah.
Here's a picture of one of the gates.
Oh, cool. Chris will David will share that. That gate is like 2 times your size.
Oh, it's huge. It's absolutely huge. And the guy, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump off the dog thing. I was just flipping through the pictures, but the curator there that was when we showed up, it was like 10 minutes to close. And he said, "You know what?" He said, "If you'll do me a favor, just shut that gate." And I grabbed a hold of the gate. Now, I'm a big boy. I'm about 5'11", 230. I was putting my rear end into it, and that gate was barely moving.
Oh, my God. That's insane. I mean, it makes sense, but that's crazy. I have to just talk about, I went to the website for a quick second because I wanted to just see what it looked like now. And they have really embraced the hipster, millennial, Gen Zer, because now you can grab a Triple Bottom Brewery Company beer, soft drink, or snack and relax outdoors in the Fair Chance Beer Garden.
Yes, they have a beer garden in there now. I was going to bring that up. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to see your
No, that's fine. No,
what?
We can. That's what we're here for. We all three get after it. But yeah, they have a beer garden.
I also really appreciate that on Thursday evening, you can visit the Grant Boulevard pop-up shop and browse between selections of sustainable, ethically made clothing and accessories.
There you go.
I bet those prison ghosts are pissed. I would be like, what the motherfucking thing is happening right now in my prison?
Yeah, you've turned my prison into this social club.
Right. You've turned the prison where I couldn't see people into a hipster. Like, this picture, these people have headphones. Like, they have like a silent headphone party.
Well, the headphones thing, I know they were renting headphones for you to walk through. As you walk through the prison, you got to listen to a guided tour. It told you, okay, this is Al Capone's cell and all about Al Capone and all that stuff. Okay, so one more thing that I failed to mention and that I kind of wanted to bring up that I thought was pretty interesting was in 1907, they had a couple Jewish inmates. Well, the Jewish inmates they had access to a rabbinical council. I don't know if I'm saying that right or, sorry to all the Jewish listeners.
Nailed it.
So in 1925, they had 34 Jewish inmates incarcerated.
Oh, dang.
In 1927, Eastern State built a synagogue in one of the former exercise yards, and it's believed to be the first prison synagogue built.
Interesting.
Wow.
So I don't know if like that area was predominantly Jewish. But I found that really interesting that they built a synagogue for these inmates.
Do they typically have like a church or?
We do have because you
like
always
non-denomination though, right?
Well, no, we actually have people that come in that do the different denominations. We also have non-denominational that comes in. We have Spanish speakers that come in and do the church services and all that stuff. That way, we're not infringing on their right for religion.
Cool. But that's interesting to have like a whole synagogue.
They did wrong, but it doesn't mean.
Well, I mean, even back then, like 1927, you're building a synagogue for Jewish inmates.
Yeah, they definitely had to have a good number of Jewish inmates for that to be. Or I wonder if that's like where they sent, because if we're thinking about the time, there was a ton of what do you call that? Anti-Semitism in like 1920s. So I wonder if this was just like that's a safer haven for folks who are Jewish.
It could be because they kept everybody separate. So.
Yeah. I don't know. That's interesting. That's super cool. A fact to know. Is it still there?
The synagogue, yes.
Cool.
Yes, I believe it's still part of the tour.
That's haunted.
What I'd love to go back. Like I said, when we went, we had like it was like 10, 15 minutes to close, and they're like, "Listen, we're not going to charge you. Just run down. You can look at Al Capone's cell because that's like right inside the doors. You can run through the gift shop. However, that's all we can let you do. And I identified myself and told them that I worked at a jail, and they're like, "Oh well, here, mess with this gate. See how heavy this is compared to the doors that y'all mess with, and stuff like that." So, I mean, I really, really and truly want to go back because I think it was really interesting. And I urge people to go and see the history. I mean, it's part of the United States history.
It's kind of cool they had like women there too.
Yes, they did. Very few, but they did have some women there.
Poor Frida Frost.
You come visit me. It's only 2 hours away from me.
There you go.
That sounds like a great way to spend Thanksgiving.
Shoot, we'll go for Halloween, Amanda. I'll hold your hand, you hold my hand, and we'll see if we make it.
As long as we go on a Thursday, so I can get a beer later in the beer garden.
We're gonna have to have beer before we go.
Yeah, that's like the only way you're getting me to go into a haunted house. It's not because I'm scared. Yeah. Like it has nothing to do with being scared because I can like justify that this is not real. I just don't like people coming at me, or like loud noises and like not knowing what's behind the door.
Well, see, I think my fight or flight symptom would be like totally turned off. It would be a fight.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I have like literally hit somebody before at Busch Gardens or Universal.
It's not, guys. I love Universal. Has the best haunted attractions I've ever been to in my entire life, and I have the fight or flight. Is like my fight or flight's on like steroids. Like it's ridiculous, my fight or flight. But when I go to those places, I know just to turn it off or turn it down. Like as long as they don't touch me, I expect that things are going to jump out or make loud bangs. So, I still jump and get scared by it, but I have it turned down because I'm expecting it. I'm going in there expecting these things to happen. So it's not like
when
I'm just walking down the street and somebody does it. It's a little different.
I don't know how much I could turn that off, though. I mean, there's only so much scare that this big boy can take, especially in a prison. That's son.
Well, and then like
end up shitting your britches.
You ain't kidding.
It's like at the Stanley Hotel, which is the haunted hotel up here in Colorado. It's
on my bucket list to go.
I can't wait till you come up because we're gonna rent the haunted room. But like, there's the feeling of like the spirits that gets me, and then to hear things or like people come at me. I'm like, I don't need both of that. Like, I know I would hit somebody and then feel really bad about it.
Well, yeah, you're going in there knowing, okay, there's spirits here. Like, and like I said, these people don't push that it's haunted, but you go in there knowing, okay, people have died. If you think like really in an aspect of a jail or a prison setting, these people took their last breath here. They weren't in the best of moods when they did. They weren't at ease or at rest, within themselves. So these evil spirits are still there. And then you've got these guys that are playing into that and jumping out at you, or whatever. Even if they tap me on the shoulder, oh my God, my bowels would be the cleanest they'd ever been. I would leave it all right there on the floor, all of it right there on the floor.
When I used to do when my jobs in Virginia, we like hosted this haunted house for like you bring a canned good and get the haunted house or whatever. And I had like part of my job was I had to participate in it. And I was like, cool, put me at the front where I don't have to hear the sounds or anything. But sometimes I'd have to go through to like get somebody like to bring their attention. And I would be like, it is me. Do not scare me. Do not touch me. Do not come near me. Like I was very vocal. I know that you are here. I know all of you. And something just happened to David. Did the cat just bite you?
Fuck, he just jumped right on my foot.
Maybe the cat is a spirit.
I was doing the whole waters jiggle my foot gimmick under the blanket, and parts unknown, this black cat just dive bombed it. Oh my God.
I love it.
Wow.
He heard you like jump scares.
What an appropriate time to get it too.
Well, and I also think about like, you're absolutely right. Like, have any of you ever tried to like wake my mom up when she's sleeping and she like jumps and like almost punches you? Like, I am very much the same.
Yeah.
Or if you try to, Adam loves to scare me because I'm very easily scared. And it's not that I'm scared in the sense of like danger. I think it's just, I don't like the noise or like any of that.
Yeah.
See,
I think if I
that's
worked
not
there,
allowed in my house.
Scaring?
Nope. The jumping out and scaring people is not allowed in my house. And like Robin, like unintentionally has gotten me. Like she'll come in. She came in recently, and because I go to bed earlier, and she opened the door, and I'd like just fallen asleep, and right before I fell asleep, I said, why do I feel like she's getting ready to come in here? Not like I heard her outside the door or anything like that. I said, why do I feel like she's going to come in here? Because it was a little warm that night, and I had my foot like outside my whole leg outside the blanket.
That's an invitation. You know that.
Yeah. So the door opens. I just fallen asleep, like literally just fallen asleep. And all of a sudden I feel something on my foot, and it's kind of like running up my leg. So I like jump, and my, first reaction's like to like go to punch, and Robin like, oh, it's me. She's going,
oh, we lost you in the middle of the story.
I thought you were still awake. I'm like, no, I just fallen asleep.
Do the robot.
It was like, could have turned really bad.
Robot right now.
Oh, you're
back. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Arigato, Mr. Roboto. Yeah.
So, all right, guys. Well, on that note, I think we'll wrap it up.
I think we're gonna.
We got the going up the leg. Oh,
people to definitely listen and tell their friends, so we can get some more advertisement money, so we can buy Christopher better internet.
Yeah, we got to boost his
Wi-Fi. Apparently garbage.
So on that jump thing, Chris, you were talking about something running up your leg. I want to throw this in there.
Yeah.
I do work night shift, and I'm at a jail. Well, it was about 2:00 the other morning. I'm sitting at my desk, and I sit in a pod of 72 inmates that are free to roam about. But at 2:00 in the morning, they're sleeping. Anyhow, so I'm sitting at my desk, minding my own business, and I feel something brush across my hand that's sitting on my knee. I look down, and there's about 18 eyes staring back up at me, and a spider just right there on my knee.
Nope.
I freaked the F out. Kicked the desk.
Like a big spider?
Yeah, like probably one, probably about yay big around.
Ah, fuck
Yeah,
my life.
yeah.
I would fucking
Walked
I would have
across,
died right there, dude.
dude. Walked across my finger, and I looked. I was like, that didn't feel right. Like something just brushed across my hand. I looked down. This fucker's on my leg. I kicked the leg up, kicked the desk, flicked the spider. I go, what the? Are you kidding me?
Up every inmate.
Like it's 2:00 in the morning. Like there was a couple heads that popped up and looked at me. I grabbed the flashlight off the desk. I'm looking under the desk trying to find this son of a bitch. I killed it, and it was down on the floor, so I got rid of it. And I'm like, I bleached the whole desk, thinking, okay, now I'm freaked out. Now I'm like on edge. Like now you're feeling that shit.
Did it lay eggs somewhere?
Oh, I don't know, but you're feeling that shit crawl up your arms and all that stuff. So I'm getting ready to leave at 6:40. Put my bag up on the top shelf of the desk, and I thump the bag, and here comes another motherfucker walking right across the top shelf.
Ooh!
Oh my god! Yep.
Did you bring a
same size
spider spray in later?
That's what I'm taking to work. Yeah, when I go Wednesday.
No.
Oh my god, dude! I'm not scared of there's very few things that I'm scared of, but there's something about. I think we talked about this when we talked about sprickets, but there's very few things that I don't like, and spiders are one of them. Don't have any issues with snakes, mice, none of that. Care less. But spiders, do not want anything to do with them.
Yeah, this fucker walked across my hand. If
there's one in the house, I would have burned the whole jail down, bud.
That was one of those.
They just got everybody out and torched the place.
I even called my supervisor. I'm like, I can't fucking sit at this desk. I can't sit at this desk. I can't sit underneath the desk. I can't be comfortable at this desk right now. And she's cracking up. And then I found another one. I'm like, this is crazy.
No, I mean, one is a coincidence.
Yeah, I would have taken a picture of that shit.
Is that happening?
Huh?
What's that saying? Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So that was my scare in the jail. Not a ghost, not anything like that.
Hell with that.
Freaking spider walking across my hand.
I don't think so. Ugh. All right. Well, on that note,
I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the Waters Run Deep podcast. Don't forget to leave rate and review on your podcast platform of choice. Please tell your friends and everybody about us. Trying to get out there so we can get more advertisements, so we can get better equipment, to improve the sound quality, things like that. We're not in it to really make money per se. We're just trying to do this to have fun and share what we do, and sound good when we do it. So please rate and review, share us, tell your friends, family, whoever. Check us out. Till next time.
Good chatting with you, cousin.
Yeah, guys, it was fun. Thank you.
I want to thank everyone again for joining us on this episode of the Waters Runs Deep podcast. Please, reminder to have everyone rate and review on your podcast platform of choice. Also, please tell your friends and family about our podcast. The more listens, the more we get out there, the better episodes we can give you and the better quality episodes we can give you. Also, please join us next episode as we talk about witches. The episode David thought we were doing vampires. We're finally going to do on witches. So please join us next episode as we dive deep into that. Thanks again. Till next time.